I think we've talked about it a little bit, but we really haven't showcased any of these decks at all because last time we had this conversation, it was like, well, Fabled's here. We're all going through this reset and try to find our place. And I think what I have fell onto is this moving damage archetype. I really, really enjoyed it. I've played with it for weeks and weeks and weeks now. Ironically, it is that Amethyst Emerald, which I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this is the same ink combination that I got paired with for the Lorcana Heat Challenge. So I'm still playing Amethyst Emerald. Um, so I have this deck here. It's called Damage Control or Damage Calculator, and it's had some different moderations ran to it. And again, maybe this is just to play around with the meta that is at our league in particular. I mean, but as you can see, one big glaring thing in here: no Dumbos, none
You
at
had them
all.
at one point.
I did, and for whatever reason, Dumbo did not work the way that I wanted Dumbo to work. He's a good card. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I've grown to like Dumbo, but he takes up slot, I guess, at what is he, 4? Three?
Four. Yep. No, he's
3.
four.
4? Something. Yeah, right. There's just so many other things that I want to do at that 4 ink, and he wasn't fitting the bill there. So looking at it, we really played into moving damage. A couple of really cool cards that a lot of people don't play here are Juju, this 2-drop snake. He's a 1/2 that when you play him, you can move 1 damage from chosen character to chosen opposing character. Okay? Then you have Panic. I think we saw Panic played in some decks earlier at Bologna, but I've been running Panic for a while now. He is a 4 cost, again, that Dumbo slot. 2/3 that quest for 2, that when you play him, you can move up to 2 damage. So I'm also running the bells. A lot of people have been running bells, but I was like, okay, cool. If everybody's watching out for bells, what else can I play? So that's why I stuck with the bells, but I also added Juju, I added Panic, but then I switched things up because there's 2 other cards in here that do something really neat, and that is Bonsai and March Hare. So Bonsai and March Hare, they have this ability that whenever you play them, I may have added the wrong card on here. I don't think it was Bonsai. Maybe it's Ed. Oops, my bad. There's a 3 cost uninkable Ed that is supposed to be in this deck. That when you play him and March Hare, they do the same thing. You play them, you get to deal 2 damage to a damaged character. So again, playing with damage. If I can move 2 damage onto a character and then turn around and play something right after that that deals 2 more damage to them, I'm finding ways to have removal within this deck without playing still, but I'm also finding ways to heal my characters without playing Amber.
You're hitting
Really
that
cool, neat
that
stuff
equal
overall.
part. Now, I
Yeah.
will ask the queen: is she just better? I mean, obviously, she's what exert and oh shoot, I cannot read that.
So you can
Um,
exert the queen, and then you choose 3 of your opponent's cards from their discard. Return those to the bottom of their deck, and if you do, you gain 3 lore. If one of them happens to be a princess character, you gain 4 lore
horrible.
instead.
For some reason, I thought she was a card draw for a moment. But are you resolving the queen much? I would imagine the first half of the ability more than the princess part, but
I mean, the princess stuff is just conditional. You see that more often whenever, I guess, if we would see more Amber Steel princess decks or Amber Steel aggro decks at our store, which we really don't. But I mean, you see how many of them were there at Bologna today. She would be able to hit on those a lot. And whenever you have those Amber Steel decks in particular that have a lot of low cost characters, you can easily fill your opponent's discard up and then just be able to gain that extra lore. Um, the queen for me in particular is working really well against Powerline because if Powerline is able to sing songs and then double sing into another song and you're just filling your entire discard up with songs, then I can just keep returning them essentially to the bottom of your deck and gain lore off of it. Outside of that, I guess my big MVP here is Madam M Elephant. We'll say it now,
That's a fun
Madam M
card.
Elephant. I've been playing for a few sets. I'm glad that she's still around. I know that me and you had a conversation offline. No, it's been a few weeks now that we talked about if there was card bans, general. You said that it was most likely to be Bell. And your reasoning was because Bell was able to heal herself or whatever, right?
Or heal other things. Yep.
Okay. My argument is that Madam Mim can just continue to heal herself every turn over and over and over and over again. Plus, she still has a little bit of that bounce package in her, which is, again, I'd rather play this elephant at 4 than I would the other elephant at
Hmm.
4 because I still have the bounce package. I can return characters like the Bells or the Panic back to my hand. That way, when I can replay them to remove more damage and move them onto my opponent, or I can bring the March Hare or Ed or somebody else back in order to deal more damage. It's just a really unique deck that I've enjoyed playing.
No, I think Madam Mim. I've been a slow burn on her. Um, Not going to talk about it exclusively, but I have been playing Madam Mim in a deck, and I have seen the value of the bounce package. And I mean, she's a beefy body at 4. I mean, a 3/7,
Mhm.
and if you don't take her out, then she's healing herself and moving that damage someplace else. It's a
She
great card.
survives. She survives a hit from Maui Shark.
Maui Shark, she survives a hit from Monstro, which is insane from Iago. Yeah, that is a beefy body. I do like the control aspects here because if we know that Emerald does one thing good, it is control. And what do you have? You have Your Welcome and Mother Knows Best. Honestly, I think Your Welcome's probably one of the best cards in Emerald, in my opinion, but especially at post rotation, I think Your Welcome has really done a lot of wild things. But then he also got Elsa's Ice Palace in here, which is one of those locations that you never hear much about.
You really don't, but it can easily shut things down. I mean, you kind of see it. Let's think Blurple real quick. And why people are still running Elsa, right? Because you can turn around and you can freeze something on the spot. Yeah, but they're what? They're frozen for one turn. I can turn around with Elsa's Ice Palace, and yeah, it only has 4 willpower. But if you can get the board state that you want, and you're hypothetically playing against a Maui Shark who is going to be able to bring actions back anytime he challenges, or Powerline who is going to be able to sting for infinite or anything like that, you throw out Elsa's Ice Palace. They're now frozen, and you've shut that character down, and they can't really do anything unless your opponent finds a way to ready them, or they take Ice Palace out first.
Yep.
I mean, there's not really much more I can say about this deck. I've tried the Family Fishing Pole. It's worked a couple of times, but most of the time it's just the ink.
Hmm. It's a fun card, but again, it's the ink, and I think it's okay to have cards like that, like almost situational. Like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be nice, but you're running 2 of them in here, so I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. It's like if you have a situation for it, great. If not, it's ink.
Yeah, it mostly only gets played if I have board control because I know I can throw it down and then later on be able to get that secondary ability. Well, not even a secondary ability, I guess, of just being able to again bounce a character back to my hand because it is a bounce package in itself, but it's also a turn waster if you were to spend the 2 ink to play it rather than another character.
Yeah, I agree.
What you got going on, Preston?
Yeah, so it's been fun. I don't think we've played each other yet. I know we've looked at certain deck lists, but I'm still riding the Powerline train. Ruby Steel specifically is probably my second most played deck behind Blurple. And it's one that I had a lot of fun with Mushus and stuff like that, but it's always just been like right there, but like just not enough. And I've been having a lot of fun with this Powerline deck. So the I've named this one "Going to the Powerline Concert," which all my decks in Dreamborn are private, but if you look at my dream board, I name my decks after quotes after the movie that they're coming from, or like a certain character. That's just how I do things. But this is the idea behind this with Ruby Steel is, Ruby Steel has always been a very challenger heavy deck with Mushu and Mushu 2 that we got in Jafar. But we now have the addition of Powerline in the Ruby color, and being Ruby's first singers, being Powerline. You have another Powerline that gets Rush if you play a song, and you obviously got the Shift Powerline with Singer 9. So I leaned a little bit away from the challenger element, and this is something that we've talked about in the last episode. Is I have gone the Steelsong route. I've officially called this deck the Steelsong deck. I know that Amber Steel is very popular right now, but to me, this is Steelsong. So you have your standard Captain Hook, your Mulans, but then you start to get into your power line slots, which a lot of people don't really. A lot of people like Powerline, but if you look at it from just a deck building perspective, he takes up a lot of slots. He takes up the 2 slot, he takes up the 3 slot, and he can take up the 4 slot if you shift him. So I am running obviously the Calhouns because I still want some challenger heavy elements. But then I'm running a few songs. I think I'm running 19 or 20 songs here, but the songs being "I'm Still Here," which is resist 2 and card draw. Strength of Raging Fire, Bee King, Undisputed, Pirate's Life, Beyond the Horizon, and One Nothing We Won't Do. So the idea is to sing with Powerline. Maybe you have an aerial out, which whenever you play a song, you can give a character evasive. Shifting on 4. That mashup ability is incredibly, incredibly fun to play with. It's great whenever you're able to hit your opponent with a Strength of a Raging Fire followed up by a Pirate's Life. That's fun. Does really well against aggro. Has a little bit of trouble with late game decks. Card draw still an issue. Running the shift aerial, so it's been fun. The Maui Half Shark's in here, but honestly, I'm about to bring him down to 2. This deck can run with not a lot of gas. It can run with very few ink. And it's not perfect, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's probably been my most fun deck. There's nothing in the 5 slot here. There's a Mulan shift on 5, which again is very situational. I really don't pull that out a whole lot, but I'm having fun with it. I would say this is the final form. The numbers here is just primarily with what I have, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's fun to play. Nothing We Won't Do is very fun because I've goofed where I have sung with Powerline and then hit Nothing We Won't Do. But if your characters are ready, then they can't quest, even though they haven't quested yet. So it's something you got to be careful with that. But it's been a fun deck. I do miss my Mushus, but that's what I'm running right now. And I know that this is just one of many Powerline decks that we have at our home local game shop. We have so many. Amber Ruby. I feel like there is another one. I could be there's Christmas Green Emerald. So
Yep.
or Emerald Ruby rather. So it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it, and that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. It's just you have fun with it.
So the aerial, I think, is what sticks out the most to me. For one, the Adventurous Collector is a Ruby card that I've enjoyed for a very, very long time. And I think that with the addition of Ruby Singers, she is absolutely phenomenal in this deck, being able to protect your power lines and give them evasive. That way you're able to turn around and hit the shifts. But this aerial Sonic Warrior that got reprinted is, in particular, this is one that I've talked to John about quite a bit as he's been trying to continue his Steelsong and with his Amber Still. If you look at actual, like, real, true removal cards within, like, the Steelsong package, there's a lot we lost. We've talked about it before. We lost Let the Storm Rage On, Grab Your Swords, lost Zeus. I mean, we still have Fire the Cannons and stuff like that. I truly believe that this aerial Sonic Warrior, and again, this is coming from someone who hasn't really played it yet, this set, but I truly think that aerial Sonic Warrior is an extremely underrated card that her ability here, amplified voice, that whenever you play a song, you may pay 2 ink to deal 3 damage to chosen character. That is massive. And I'm hearing you now say that you're thinking about dropping Maui Shark down to 2. I would be interested to see what happens if you were to boost up Aerial Sonic Warrior to 4 on the other end. Because hypothetically, all I'm saying is if you're able to turn around and you're singing songs with all these different singers and stuff you have, and you're saving ink by singing the songs, then you can turn around after that and use the ink with Ariel's ability to deal more damage and remove more characters off the board. Then hypothetically get to do that twice if Powerline hits 2 songs.
Yeah. I think the issue I have with Ariel is you have 2 things taking up a 4 cost shift slot. Yeah, Powerline shifting for 4 on ideally on turn 4, and then you also have Ariel, which it can also shift on turn 4. So obviously I feel like you are, and maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but I've always prioritized shifting the power line and not the aerial first. But maybe shifting the aerial, getting your ink ready to go, but then you're still shifting the power line. So either one, you're not playing on curve. But yes, she's a 3/8 beefy body, but yeah, I'm a fan with it, especially if you could double up like a strength with the pinging damage from Aerial Sonic Warrior. I mean, in theory, let's just say on average 2 to 3 damage. You're doing anywhere from 4 to 5 on average, or 4 to 6 on average. Like, come on, like that's a lot of damage. But it's been
It's
fun.
just it's disrespectful. Like not even just the strength, but everything else within this. It's like your opponent has 2 cards on the field. Cool. Let me sing Be King Undisputed. Now
Challenge
you're
with
forced to
Calhoun
get
first.
yeah. You go ahead. You get rid of one of them. You do that. Here's the Bee King. You decide which one you want to get rid of. Okay, let me go ahead and spend 2 ink and deal 3 damage to the other one. Something like that. Even little things like beyond the horizon. You could potentially like have an opponent who's playing Amethyst or something who has a whole handful of cards, drop their hand down to whatever, and then still have Ariel smack them for 3 damage. It's bullying.
I have been using, because Beyond the Horizon, it's that 7 cost uninkable Sing Together where you can choose any number of players, including yourself, and you discard your hands and draw 3. Early on, I find myself using that offensively just to throw off that mojo, especially on Amethyst, where they've worked to construct their hand. And if you're able to throw the away as soon as turn 4, yeah, it's pretty good. But again, it struggles. It struggles with a lot of your more competitive decks and stuff like that. But I'm having fun with this deck, and that should be the only thing. The only thing that matters here. But John, what have you been playing as of recent? I know you're still doing Powerline, but
Yeah, I do have a Powerline deck. I just haven't played it yet. But I've been doing an allied deck with Scar and the Jasmine with the Shift 2 Jasmine. So when she quests, you can look at your deck or your top 3 cards. If there's an ally, put it in your deck. The other ones go on the bottom. When it hits, it hits. When it doesn't hit and the draws are bad, you can't catch up.
where it works.
Yeah, it's hard to work for or work with. The deck on screen, I actually have added another Hades and another Smash, and I've taken 2 dock away. The only reason I did that was because I needed 2 dock in my Powerline deck, and I didn't feel like swapping cards. But it really hasn't. Well, as of today, it really didn't show that it hurt to not have 4 docks in there. So, but I mean, there's a lot of big cards in there. I run mine with the Bagheera. I know a lot of people like the Pluto for the bodyguard. I prefer that one because when they take it out, it deals 2 damage to,
everything, right?
Everything. Yeah, everything. So I kind of like that better than the Pluto. I know you can get the Pluto out quicker, but honestly, with Sail and like the Tipo in there, I get a lot of a lot of ink, and I'm not used to running a deck where I get a lot of ink. Usually, when I get up to about 7 or 8, it's like, okay, I don't need to really ink anymore because
keep going.
Yeah, I
14,
can just keep
12 to 14 or bust.
Yeah, it's like I could, but I run the Vince, so he's kind of come in clutch several times, especially tonight. It came in handy to be able to slap that sucker out and do 3 damage immediately to a chosen card.
How many times did you play him against me?
3, I think.
I think so.
Because I have 4 in the deck. I think I did 3 at one point. Because you sent one back, and then I think I shuffled and pulled him back out again a little later. So,
I did the "You're welcome," and then you still ended up finding one.
Yeah, I still ended up. Finding
between
one.
that and Hades, you're getting all this ink now, and I swear it's like every turn you're slapping out another 7-cost character.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at it. I've got the 5-cost Jasmine, Scar, the Big Tink, Hades, Vince. It's like, well, I can really get some big
converted John.
What's that?
Sapphire players. We have converted John.
Well,
we gotta do Dylan.
The only reason I've got converted is because they really decimated my.
They did. I remember that first night of League. I looked over. I saw John. John was like, "Hey, I'm gonna play a Tipo," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I know. It was. I really had to think about it for hard, but But yeah, I mean, you got the 3-cost genie. You got the Ben in there that'll give support. Which I've used him a couple times, but usually by the time I get Ben out, I've already got Scar or a Big Tink or something like that. It's like I really don't need it at that time, but it's there if I do. And like I said, the happy.
Why are we running Ben? Are we running Ben for support?
Really, it's because he's a 4/3 at a 4-cost, and he quests for 2. Yeah, I mean, I could use him for support, but I mean, he's just kind of. I mean, he hits for 4, so it's like, well, if I need it, but I'm only running 2 of him, so honestly, I don't see him a lot. He sometimes just becomes ink because by the time I find him at the end of the game, I don't need him.
Here's the big question with it. As someone who has been excited about this Sapphire Steel archetype with, I guess, with allies, but specifically with Scar, and then watching some of these games that happened today, which I'm sure that we're getting ready to talk about, how often are you hitting on Scar? Like, whenever it comes to card draw, Scar's ability, how often do you actually get to draw a bunch of cards?
Honestly, not too often. I mean, I did it once in 3 matches tonight. I could have done it more, but I didn't need to. But it was there if I needed to. To me, the big thing is it gives +1 attack to all my allies. And 90% of the deck is allies, so everybody hits for a +1, which is nice. But I could, I did just to see if I could draw something because I was looking for a particular card, and I would do a Plinky or a Ben or Plinkly, however you say his name. I can never say it right. Pinky. I call him Plee. Plee is what I call him.
Teletubbies up in here.
But or if Ben's out, I'll use him because I can draw 3 or 4 cards off of it. But then you still got to discard 2 and discard the the card that you use to draw it. So depending on what you get, it's hit or miss. But honestly, it is fun when it works. It's really fun. When it doesn't work, it's miserable.
Well, that's every deck.
Yeah, it is. It's every deck, but
it goes fast. It has the potential to go fast. Depending on what you got. Amanda's been playing that, and as there's been a few games where I've just been like, "What? Like, where did this lore come from?"
Yeah, well, I mean, you get 2 Vince out, and then all of a sudden it's like you got 6 lore right there, and yeah, so it's like holy crap. But I like the deck and I really like being able to get Vince out. I like that card last set. There was no way that thing was ever going to be. Well, he's one of my favorite characters anyway. When I realized who did the voice for him, when I first heard him speak, I went, "Wait a minute, I know who that is. That's from Saturday Night Live. You know, I know that guy. He just talks that way. Is he holding a cigarette? Kinda. It's all he's kind of. But yeah, but you know, Father Guido Sarducci. But yeah, I like it a lot. It is a fun deck. When I'm playing something like against Powerline with, you know, singers and a lot of songs come out, you can ask Matt. There's been some times that he has just absolutely just beat me to a pulp without being able to do anything, because he can just, once he inserts board control. And that's the thing. If I don't draw, and that's, tonight was really bad because I could not draw a 1-drop half the time to save my life. And I mean, I'm running 8 1-drops in there, you know, 4 Happy, 4 Jasmine. You would think that I would be able to find one when I shuffle, and I couldn't tonight. So, but yeah, it's a fun deck. There's still some tweaking I thought about doing, but you know, with the 2 Hades helped out. Having 1 Hades wasn't, getting a second Hades in there was better than 2, so, or better than 1. So,
if I've learned anything, because I feel like there's a lot of decks that run a lot of 1 or 2 ofs, and if you don't have 4, I feel like you never see it.
Yeah,
like, it's consistency. I will always be a consistency preacher.
Yeah, I don't like just running 1 of something. It's at least got to be 2. It's like, you know, I don't see the point in 1 unless it's some nuclear option, and there's not really anything like that out there. So,